In mathematics, it's important that you also know the rules and the laws that govern how we work with numbers. And some of those laws and rules are included in this question. So for instance, if you take a look at the first three, the commutative, the distributive, and the associative properties of numbers. Those are very important because the associative property, for one, allows you to make addition of a number of numbers. If you've got 4 or 5 or 6 numbers and you need to add them, you can use the associative property to make it easier in your head even to do it. The distributive property is very often used in grade 4 and grade 5, grade 3 as well, to do multiplication. It makes multiplication so much easier if you know how to use the distributive property. The commutative property is just something that allows you to do certain things. So you need to provide for this question examples of those three properties. Then also, if you take a look at the identity element, that's something else. The identity element of addition and the identity element of multiplication. You also need to provide examples of that. What exactly is the identity element of those two operations? You also need to understand where plus, minus, multiply, and divide fit in with these various rules. Because, for instance, the commutative property works only for plus and multiply. It doesn't work for subtract and for divide. You need to know these things. It's very important. This question aims at teaching you those laws that you will use in the working with numbers. So the chances of you getting a question such as this in a test are very slim. They probably won't ask you flat out, what is the commutative property? But they will expect of you to know how to use the commutative property as part of another question. And that's why this question is so important, that you understand exactly what is happening here. And then just the last two, you need to know the laws of zero. You need to know them. All the laws of 0 and 10 and 100 and thousands and so forth. And you also need to know exactly, and this is very important, you need to know what an inverse operation is, because that is what you will need to use to test your answer. So it's very important that you understand all these theory that we cover in this specific question. If you don't know them, it's important that you go and do some research and find out exactly what is involved with every one of these rules and properties and definitions.